Now, before even you start taking off, it is very, very, very important to set up the scale, because if you mess up the scale, it means that all your quantities are going to be wrong. So you don't want to mess up with the scale, and that is why you should you should take care to make sure that the scale is actually set up to the correct scale. Now, there are different ways of setting up the scale, and one of them is using this particular option. You can click at that point or proceed to tools. Under the measure, we have calibrate. Now, the other versions where let me look at this particular version. The other versions where the measure here, it is we have set scale. So in that case, it means that you've got to set the scale using this option. You proceed to the tools and you set the scale. But for our case, in this case, we have calibrate. It serves the same purpose. Now, if you click at this particular calibrate, or else, okay, for calibrate, we are going to see how it works. If you click at this particular point, okay, it says that scale not set. Therefore, if you click, it is going to take you to a point where you can set up the scale. Now, this is for this version. There is another version where you click at this particular scale not set. You're going to get this kind of a window to set up the scale. Now, it is very, very similar, only that the arrangement is different. Now, with this one, you just need to use preset, and in this case, these are preset that either you have saved or that comes with the software. For example, you can see for a case we can have 1:100. You can use presets, or else you can click on custom. Once you click on custom, you have the option to calibrate, so that way you'll be able to calibrate. Now, for our case here, which of course the settings are very similar, it's either you proceed with calibrate or you just proceed with input. Now, if I click on input, with input, here you choose. Again, it's very similar. You choose the scale, the preset that have been added, like that. And then custom, you can create something that is custom here. For example, I can say 1 centimeter represents 10 centimeters. So this is just something that is custom. Again, you can click on calibrate, and we've noted the difference between this particular version and another version, where, let me try to draw something. So with this version, we see that the preset and custom are at the same point, and then you can just click on calibrate, yeah, and then you can add to preset. So after you calibrate, you can add to preset. So again, with calibrate, we are going to see how it works. Now that is it. Let's proceed to our version here. In this case, we are going to proceed with we are going to start off with the preset. So with preset, we say that there are predefined scales that you have. Again, if you calibrate, you can add that particular calibration as a preset. So let me just choose 1:100 and click on apply scale. And this, of course, will be possible if the drawing have a scale. Yeah, so if the drawing have a scale, you can just preset to that particular scale that you have. After you choose the scale, the next thing is to make sure that the scale is actually correct, and this of course is very, very important. For example, I click at this particular point and then click at this point. Now you note that okay, let me choose a preset here. Again, I will repeat again, 1:100, and then I click on apply scale, and then I'm going to choose this particular length. So I choose the length and then confirm that actually this scale is able to work out. So I'm going to hold down my shift key to restrain the cursor to a straight line, and there we have 12.3 meters. It means 1:100 can work with us. I will try another dimension, probably a smaller dimension. From this point to this point, you can see that is 0.20. So it is still working for us. Now sometimes you find that the drawing has a scale given, but when you try to check by using predefined dimensions, you note that the scale is not equal, and sometimes it happens. So in that case, you can proceed and use the calibrate option. So there, okay, you can just click on calibrate, just click OK. And in this case, for calibrate, you need to define a known dimension. For example, here I know that it is 12,300. That is given in this particular drawing. So click at this point, and again make sure that you hold down your shift key so that you can be on a straight line, and then I'll click at this particular point. So you're going to be given an option to enter the distance. So in this case, you need to okay, this one I just need to change to millimeters. So remember, you are not supposed to change this because this one is the one that have been recorded. What you are supposed to change is this point. So this should be 12,300, and then we choose millimeters. You have to be careful here. Now, here should be 12,300. So that is it, and then you can click on apply scale. Now the scale is set and it is shown here. You need to proceed and check the scale, very important. So make sure to check that the scale is properly, or it is okay, it is applicable. So click at this point, and then make sure that if I hold down my shift key and I proceed and place at that point, you can see that we are losing by about 2 millimeters. So 2 millimeters is not much, but if you want to be more precise, you need to make sure that you are getting exact things. So if I try another dimension, for example, this is that 100, I can click at this point and try to have it at that point. With that, we are losing about 0.75 millimeters, which of course is insignificant. So that is the calibrate, and probably we can decide to move with that because, example, this one we are losing 0.14 millimeters, and of course the 0 point is due to the precision level. So if I proceed, for example, at this point, and okay, this one we are supposed to add it as a preset. So let's try again. Let's start again so that we can add it as a preset. Again, we can zoom in so that we can be at the correct point. I can start from this point probably this time, and then make sure that you are very, very accurate. So click at that point. So that is 12,300, does not change. So there it is, and yeah, I think this is good. And then we came across the precision here. Because we are working with millimeters, so the precision can be 1. So these are the decimal places that that are going to be shown. If I click on apply and I click at the length once again, this time we try again. So I'll proceed at this point, make sure that I have my I click at that particular point, and then make sure that I am here. So with this particular calibration, you can see that this one is exactly 12,300 with a precision of 1. So with a precision of 1, we don't have the decimal points. With a precision of 0.1, you have 1 decimal place. If you have a precision of 0.01, that is 2 decimal places. So that is it, and we can see that we can check another dimension. So from this point it is 200 millimeters. It means I can proceed and use this particular calibration. So I can check the other drawing on top, that is it, 1650. So we have set up a drawing, or we have set up this particular scale using the calibration method, which of course most of the time you're going to be using the calibration method. Now let me try this particular scale where we have the calibrate. Probably you're using this version. So with this one, the calibrate is there. Just click on it and click OK. Again, with this one, you need to define points. Probably I can define this particular point and also this point. So that is 4300. So with this one I'm going to change to millimeters, and also this one I'm going to change to millimeters, and this one it is 4300. So yeah, I think yeah, it is 4300. And then we talked about the precision. So in this case you can choose the precision. These are the decimal places. Because we are working with millimeters, we need a precision of 1. If you want a 1 decimal place, a 2 decimal place, probably with 2 decimal place is where you are working with meters. So in this case you'd choose this one. Again, you can add preset. For the one that we have currently, we don't have that option to add to preset. But with this upgraded version, we have the option to add to preset. So click on add preset, and it is going to be saved, and later when you want to use this particular scale, you can proceed and use it now. And I can just click on apply scale and then proceed and make sure that you check to ensure the dimension works. With this one we need to change the unit before even we do anything. So you need to change the unit, but I'm in view mode, probably because of the license. Yeah, that's why we have this colored background sometimes because of the license issues. So that's why I'm not using this one. But of course we are still going to use the other version and be able to learn more. Now we've got to see the preset, and preset is very important. So let's say for example you have a drawing here. I can open a structural drawing probably. So this is a structural drawing. It has this scale 1:50, and then it has another scale 1:25. So a single page with more than one scale, it happens. So that's when the preset will come into play, where I can, for example, decide to calibrate. For example, I can just try to place a particular dimension like that, and then here I'll click on custom. Again with the preset, remember we had this particular preset, but in this case I'll click on custom and then click on calibrate, then click OK. So I'll click at this point and make sure you're on a straight line. So I'm going to hold down my shift key, click at this point and change to millimeters. Before typing, make sure that you've changed to millimeters, and then here we type in 12,000, and then before even you click on apply scale, click on add preset. So that is the first scale that you have created for this particular part, or for this particular section of the page. So that is for 1:50. Now you need to as well make sure you check, very important, you need to check the various dimensions. Make sure that it's actually working for you. So you'd first of all check it, but for now we have seen how you can check, so it is there's no need to repeat that. Now let's say again you proceed and you have another scale 1:25. So I'll proceed back and try to add something so that I can get an option to have a preset or to add the scale. I think it already have the scale, so we are not going to have it once again. Let me proceed to tools, measure, set scale. Yeah, if you click on set scale, of course that is calibrate. Let me see if they're going to give me the option to set the scale. It already has the scale. Now with this one as well, because this is a Revo version 20, so with this one you're also going to get an option here to set the scale. If you're using the free version, or else you've bought, you'll be able to see an option to set the scale there, and it is going to work for you. For my case, I probably don't have it because of the issue with the license, and also you are not going to get this particular colored background sometimes telling you that there is a protected scale, and sometimes you are going to have them show even when you have a license because of certain things. For example, if you add a signature to your document that you have not looked at, you are going to get the option. You are going to be getting these kinds of colored themes, although they don't affect the what you are doing currently. But the scale that you set, probably you set a scale and you change what is deemed as a protected scale, it is going to be reverted. The document is going to be reverted to that scale even after changing afterward. So after you save, the document going to be reverted to the protected scale. So sometimes it happens, or sometimes it happens when you add probably a signature or a stamp, or you protect this particular document. So that is how we add the skills. And then don't forget, if you have more than one skill, you can proceed and save several presets. And then once you need to change between skills, you can proceed and choose various skills, or choose the skill that is used or is useful to the current work. And then you have to be careful that it does not change other values that you have. So that is it, and I think that is how we set up the scale in this Bluebeam. And once you set up the scale and you are clear that the scale is right, you can proceed and start off the process of taking off